From ThousandIslandsDiscGolf.com, we bring you a FLYBOY Canada first-class, full-flight conversation. You'll be listening in to Anastasios, Brian, and Greg as we explore the unique world of disc golf. We'll be talking about living the disc golf life in Brockville, from the joys of being on the courses in our backyard to digging deeper into the very community that surrounds them. Join us as we unbag all that's waiting for you to experience.
Disc golf, yeah. Disc golf, yeah.
All right, guys, we got 2 episodes in the bag, and then everything goes to
shiznits.
I'm sorry about last week. As you know, Ted Hughes passed away. And do you want to know a little bit about Ted Hughes?
I'd love to. Tell us.
Oh, my gosh. Ted Hughes, what a guy. Ted Hughes and his wife Sally moved to Brockville in 1987, and he was the warden and superintendent of the Brockville jail until 1996 when he retired. So if you weren't somebody who visited the jail, or if you were somebody who visited the jail...
I didn't know Ted. Not before 1996.
You might know him, you might not. Actually, we had a newer disc golfer coming into the store this year, and I asked what he did, and he said he worked at the jail. And I said, oh, it's amazing. And I told him about Uncle Ted, and he's like, Ted Hughes. We still talk about him. Pause. With respect. So it was like really great. So beyond that, Ted always attended the local Remembrance Day services, proudly as a Korean War veteran. As a part of the peacekeeping mission, he spent 16 months in Korea. He was proud of this service and his relationship with the local the Legion. He's always at the Legion. Beyond that, he's an incredible lion. He got his 50-year pin this year. He's held multiple different seats, and he was district governor, I think they call it, A4 region. So pretty great guy. And when I moved to Brockville, not knowing anybody, he was an incredible resource and always let me speak, getting disc golf going and who to talk to. And, he was giving me advice on how to break down doors. And
not literal doors.
No, exactly. But he was a huge resource to me. He believed in what we were doing here, even though he had no interest in disc golf. He was a champion. So I gave you a little bit of wine here. This kit comes from Ted Hughes' family estate. So thanks, Ted, for being great to your city, your country, and your community. Cheers.
Cheers to Ted.
We're drinking on the air. Now that we're drinking, you had the Super Bowl pool this weekend, correct?
I did.
The Cowan Super Bowl pool?
The Cowan family Super Bowl pool. It's been going on for, 15 years or more. I'm not even sure.
15 years, wow.
At least. It started out with just, the small family group. We were doing it on a piece of paper hanging up on the wall. It's just, my brother, my sister, and immediate family. So there's like a dozen of us, and then my cousin wanted in, and then someone else wanted in, and it just grew. And then probably about 8 years ago, I'd say, I got some extra help from my eldest son, and we went live on Google. And the spreadsheet got too much for me to manage on my laptop. So now with Google, everything's live and everybody can watch, and each year it grows. Now this year we settled out at about 215 people.
Wow.
And I'm that's about where I'd like to keep it. It doesn't need to get any bigger now. And that makes, the pot's over $2,000 and only 2 or 3 people win money. Wow. Well, actually, minimum of 3 people win money. You could have 4. Best part about the pool is last place. The ultimate loser gets $50 no matter what. And it's only $10 to get into the pool.
Oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. You got to, people seem to get in on the pool 5 minutes right before the game, right? They're not very considerate.
Nobody can see the look on my face right now. But yeah, I would say 6 hours before the game start, we only had half the people in. That last 6 hours, the other half of the people get in. And it's always a risk because if your payment doesn't make it, your picks don't go in. But I do understand that people want to wait to the last minute when the excitement's there. The other thing I'll say about the pool is you don't want to be in first place when the game ends, because at the end of the game, we answer anywhere from 7 to 10 questions after that, and the person in first has never finished at first. And there was a player this year, her name was Layla. She was in first right till the last question, and the last question was who would win the Super Bowl, and she picked the Chiefs. And when I put in the Eagles, everything flipped and she was out of the money. Yeah, that was, I thought that was going to work. But now the other thing is only one person got last place this year, and his game name said he was going to get last place. And last year, his game name said he was going to get last place. So he has got last place all by himself 2 years in a row. That kind of makes him in the spot of the Chiefs right now, because he's looking for a three-peat. And everyone's going to hate him for it.
That's amazing. 215 people, that's great. 15 years. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And like I say, my family's helped me a lot. And I usually have just a couple of people in because we have to manage it. I tend to watch the pool questions and hardly see the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. You're absorbed.
I'm just watching for the answers or whatever. And the big one this year was one of the favorites in the pool is the halftime questions.
Right.
We've had some real winners over the year.
What was the one about the hugs?
Oh, this year, yeah. It wasn't a very good one. I struggled with Kendrick Lamar.
How do you, I struggle with that as well. But like, you must be like glued to the TV watching what the hug is going to be.
Every moment. Like, yeah. And I watched, and there was a question about pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
And my daughter texted me and said, yes, because she must have obviously said yes.
Right.
She said there was, pyrotechnics. And I looked at everyone that was sitting in the room. There was 4 of us. We didn't see anything. Right. So I texted my brother and sister's households because they have people there. They didn't see anything. So I actually got on the phone and I called a guy, a friend's son, and I said, did you see anything? And he's like, no, I didn't see anything. So I texted my daughter and I said, unless you can find a picture of it, right. I'm sorry.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Did he use the headset mic or did he use a regular mic?
He held his mic.
He held it.
And I was a little worried for a minute because I could see he had an earpiece, but there was no mic on it.
Yeah, it was his monitor.
Yeah, so
anyway. His performance beat out Michael Jackson, right? It's the most watched Super Bowl. Like,
really?
Yeah, it's like 100. I saw. Well, I don't know exactly, but there was a post of like 133 million people saw Michael Jackson's, and 134 million people saw.
Jeez.
Yeah, they may not have watched the whole show.
That just made me.
Was it the best Super Bowl ever?
No. You know what? If it wasn't for the pool, I think I would have found the Super Bowl a little bit boring. And we've had that for a couple years. Like, there's been some Super Bowls that weren't close. You want them close, but you also want your team to win.
Right. Well, see, that's the amazing thing about the Cowan pool.
Right.
It brings life to the Super Bowl.
True.
It does.
Yeah, I didn't care, but I put in $10 and I was watching, but I didn't watch the halftime show because I'm not a Kendrick Lamar fan.
There you go.
And how did you do in the pool?
You'll have to let me know. I might have had a few drinks.
I don't even know where I ended up in the pool. Because if I'm not in the money, I don't care.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments was probably about 10 years ago when we got my mother to enter. And she would have been in her late 70s then. And she ended up getting 1 pick better than my brother. I've never let him live that down.
That's great.
And it's just luck.
Mom beat you.
And I had to explain a lot of the questions to her.
So what did you get up to last week?
Well, I did watch the Super Bowl, played a little bit of poker with some pals. Last week, I got a couple rounds of disc golf in as well, and had a nice show at O'Heafey's on the weekend on the Saturday.
That's Prescott?
In Prescott, yeah, O'Heafey's in Prescott. We play there usually a couple times in the winter, and then they have a lovely patio in Prescott, so we managed to do that a couple times in the spring and summer as well. I like it there. You know, it's a good. They support live music, so we're always happy to play there. It's always a good show, and there's always a good turnout.
Right on, man.
It was fun. It was really fun. Yeah.
Where did you? What was the temperature when you played?
I think it was we were like -9, -10.
Crazy.
Yeah. A little bit of sun though, which makes a difference. Always does. But the amount of snow is it's a workout.
Yeah.
It's a big time workout, but yeah,
Yeah.
more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
You
no
didn't
doubt.
lose any discs.
I did not. I everything's got a ribbon on it that I'm chucking now because it's so deep. You cannot get away without ribboning up.
How long is your ribbon?
About 16 inches.
That's not long enough. No, not long enough.
No, you need bigger.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't believe it, but as soon as we got back from the funeral on Monday, and Tuesday morning, I woke up and bam, I got just hit. Second time in 30 days, I got wiped out by the freaking flu, and I think it was like just like a lot of shaking hands and being close to people and stuff like that. But I mean, it's definitely been going around.
Yep.
But what a beating! I mean, twice. That's never happened to me. I've never gotten sick that close together before.
You're the kind of guy that when you get sick, you're out.
Oh yeah. And that's it. Just a truck hit me twice in 30 days. It's unbelievable.
You should be good for a while now, though.
I think so.
Knock on wood.
I think so. Let's go for a skate. Let's go for a skate.
Right on.
Awesome. Okay, so I guess we'll get on with the show, take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Bloom.
Disc golf, yeah.
All right, Bloom. As everybody, as some people know, Prodigy has had complaints about chalk on their disc. It's not new to Prodigy. It's been around for a long time. And I'm actually going to read a Reddit from the Innova GM, Coben Dunapace, who is Dave's youngest son. And he writes, the chalk, it's called Bloom, and simply put, components of the plastic that have moved out of a solution and to the surface of the disc. It can happen for various reasons, but will generally happen to all discs if enough time has passed. It can happen prematurely if the plastic was degraded by other means, i.e. UV exposure, high temps, or if the plastic mix used contained incompatible materials, including additives like color or weighting agents. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Science man? Anyway, so it's point one is that it is not unique to Prodigy. It's existed before, and this post was from Coben about a year ago on Reddit. You should check out his Reddit line, Innova GM. He's actually really good at talking to people, like connecting with people. It's really cool. Hats off to him for that. So anyway, so basically you're sitting around, you got these discs, and eventually chalk builds up on them. I get the frustrations. I completely understand why people are frustrated. It's not what they bought. When they went into the store, they felt a piece of plastic and it felt a certain way. There was no sticker that said, this is a chalk bleeder. So the argument that, oh, it's really cool because I have naturally sweaty hands and I don't need a chalk bag, I can do that. Well, you didn't know that when you bought it. So therefore, it can lead to disappointment. So the chalk bleaches out. And then what happens is this chalk is very difficult to remove. Like you can get a lot of the sort of like the top layer of it, but then that small little, that
like a film
sticks tight to it. And it's tough to get rid of. Yeah. And then you end up scrubbing your disc like crazy to get rid of it, and then you harm your foil or your stamp or whatever. So, again, I completely get why people lose their mind about it. Yeah. And it seems like sometimes people would say, well, like, it's actually like jumping from one disc to another, and I mean, I don't know if any of that's true, but you can see, yeah, exactly. But you can see when you open up the bag, multiple discs can have it, right? So I find that it really kind of pops up after the discs have been left for a long time in a bag or something like that. And that's because you're not using it, so it's just sort of leaching out. We at the shop have a lot of cleaning solvents. And we've been practicing for a long time, testing out which ones work and which ones won't work to remove it. Okay. And we found some that work really well, but these aren't readily available to the regular person. We're a printing shop. In addition to that, the foil is affected.
Gets harmed.
You got it. It comes off. So we've been at this for a long time trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. And I'm telling you, the answer is very simply WD-40.
That's the answer for everything.
Exactly.
Really?
But it is the easiest solution, and your discs feel literally brand new.
Wow.
Right after you've done it. So all you do is grab a rag, get a little, a decent amount of WD-40 on it,
yeah.
and then just wipe the disc down. Let that oil grab that chalk.
Yeah.
It pulls it right up. You don't have to scrub too hard.
Okay.
Just make sure it's on there.
Are you leaving it soaking, or you just put it on and wipe it off?
You don't need to let it soak, but you want it enough so that you know that the oil is getting on that disc. You know
Do
what I
you
mean?
spray it on your cloth that you're wiping, or spray it on the disc?
That would probably be up to you. I mean, I would assume you'd want to do it directly to the disc. We actually have the big jugs, so we're just literally pouring it onto a rag. So then we have like a fairly wet rag.
Yeah.
But then you just coat it, get in all the grooves, coat it like you're coating a piece of chicken with olive oil or whatever. Right. And once it grabs that chalk, it's gone. Then throw it in the sink,
yeah.
Hot water, dish soap, get that oil off of it, and these discs literally feel brand new. Wow. It doesn't get rid of scuffs or marks or anything like that, but the difference is night and day. And no concern to foil or anything else, but super easy to do. It's not. It doesn't take any time at all. If you've got WD-40 in a rag, that thing's clean.
You're talking. This is for the bloom, right?
It's for the bloom,
okay.
yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk any more about that, but like for.
No, but I will say you can check out some photographs on our Facebook page, the podcast Facebook. I'll post some pictures of those.
Like a before and after.
Before and after. Oh, nice. Yeah. I can show you. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you go back a few days later, and you're like, okay, and you grab that disc, and it freaks you out how good it feels. I don't know if the WD.
It's probably clean as well as bloom free.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like a reset for the disc.
It is, and it feels like it's brand new all over again. It's crazy. Sorry for going on about this, but I mean, this is the point why I tried.
You're excited.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good to find the fix.
It is really good to find a fix, and I've been after it for a long time. The real fix, not just a fix, but the fix. And I'd heard about oils, baby oils, and olive oil and stuff like that, and that's I'm sure they work too. But I'm just telling you, this is what if you
readily
want
accessible,
easy
to use, quick.
Boom, it's done.
Yeah.
Doesn't harm your disc.
I got a couple discs I need to try this out on.
Yeah, and it's great. But I mean, you forget when you're holding that disc how that chalk really affected the throw.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even want to throw it.
Yeah,
I actually looked
just...
at it in my bag, and I just left it and said, I'm going to try a different disc. Right. I think it's all in my head, but yeah, that was the feeling I had.
I guarantee it. You do this, and that disc is gonna be one of your favorite discs all over again.
If I bring my discs to you, will you show me how to do it?
No, I will not do this. I will not do everything for you, Greg. I cannot, and I will not. I refuse. Sorry. So you're.
Well, I was just gonna say, what about just general cleaning? I think things I've seen online is people just making a bath for their discs, which I think I've done as well. Just I guess clean them in the sink with just regular dish soap and water. Like, is what should I be doing? Just for general cleaning, and in some cases, I don't know, should I be cleaning them?
Well, this is my thought on it, and there's nothing I like more than a clean driver. I think my rule of thumb is everything except your putter.
Okay.
There's the putters. the argument there, in which I believe, I'm going to tend to agree, is that you actually do get your oils into the putter because of the different type base plastic. Most people are using base plastics. Your oils can get into the putter, and that can actually help you with your putt because it's so sensitive.
Right.
Whereas, once again, you go back to your drivers or your more premium plastics, you're looking for that grip that you originally bought. So you should have that grip that you originally bought, and then you came into. Also, if the disc was intended to have chunks of dirt on the inside of the rim, then that would have been part of the PGA approval process. And I got to tell you, man, there's nothing that doesn't bother me as far as seeing people play with like dirty discs. Right. But there's something bothers me when I see people playing with dirty discs. I mean, it's like some of these discs are really dirty, right? Yeah. And I'm not talking about scratches and bangs. Just like when somebody pulls a disc out of their bag and they have to go over to a tree and knock the mud off of it that's dried out. I'm just like,
so that bothers you, eh?
Yeah.
Oh,
a little
good to know.
A little bit.
Good to know. Well, when you drive that disc in like a gravestone, it tends to get a little dirty sometimes.
Buddy, get a rag. Clean it up before.
Get the rag dirty.
Boy, you dragging all that mud in your bag because you can't take a second to wipe it down clean. Then everything you put in your bag, your apple, your banana. Gets coasted. I mean, what kind of muck and goose shit? Excuse me.
Yeah. I have cleaned my discs. I do them in the kitchen sink. Yeah.
I've seen people put them in the dishwasher.
Oh, that's hardcore.
Oh,
I don't know.
That scares me. That temperature.
I'm
and
not
stuff,
risking that.
Yeah.
No, I like to hand wash
Greg,
them.
do you clean your putters and stuff, or are you go?
I've only done it a couple of times, but I do wipe them down. I do carry a rag, unlike Brian saying I don't. I just don't like to get it dirty.
Right. I like a nice clean rag.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like being a drummer and I have my cymbals, right?
Yeah.
So I have like some vintage stuff, like some 60s hi-hats and stuff that I will not clean because there's the layers in there. I think I'd be scared to strip the sound, the feel out of it. So I think I'm subconsciously that's what I'm doing with my putters as well. It's just like I'll give them a little wipe off, but I'm breaking these things in. They're feeling better every day, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. Nice to know about the.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, I just want to get the chunks of dirt off. I don't mind that they're a little bit dirty, but those chunks that throw it, unbalanced, like me, I don't like that.
All right, just a reminder, check out Reddit and follow Innova GM. Get some answers straight from the source. He's been the general manager there for 4 years, I think, as I said. Great solutions. When we come back from the floor, maybe?
Sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
Disc golf, yeah.
We go now to the floor of the Thousand Islands Disc Golf Store, where visitors from both local and from afar are quizzed on the spot with random questions.
Today we're talking with
Peter Sine, Perry Sine.
how many discs do you currently have in your bag?
For the winter, 16.
19,
How many total discs do you own?
30.
25.
How long have you been playing disc golf?
It's our third winter. October 22, I think we started.
What is your biggest pet peeve regarding other players when playing around?
People leaving garbage on the course.
What course do you find yourself playing the most in Brockville?
FLYBOY Canada 1.
What does stable mean?
Throw straight.
What is your go-to putting putter?
PA3, 300 soft.
PA4, fractal.
What is your go-to distance driver?
Right now, the H7.
F3.
What is the number one rule when playing disc golf?
Be aware of others.
What does beefy mean?
Fairly heavily overstable.
You having fun?
Yeah.
Are mermaids real in March?
They are in Brockville.
If you're meeting at Stingers, what are you likely going to be doing?
Pickleball.
This popular product was made famous from Brockville, starts with the word pink and ends with the word people. What is the full phrase?
Pink pills for pale people.
Who cut your hair?
Jeff on Beale Street.
Tina, from Tina's Golden Comb.
Of the 43 that can be played, what is your current favorite hole in Brockville?
Number 3 on FLYBOY Canada 1.
6.
What brings you into the store today?
It
catch up on what's happening in the world of golf in Brockville and pick up a new disc.
I also got a new disc.
How much do you currently pay to play around a disc golf?
$0.
Zero.
Best fish and chips in Brockville.
Manuals.
Yeah, I go to Manals.
What is your favorite disc to hyzer flip?
PA5.
Same.
What is the best single disc for new players?
The zero gravity pure.
PA5.
Outside of disc golf, what is the one thing every visitor to Brockville should do?
Check out the view from Blockhouse Island.
Go through the tunnel.
Thanks, guys. Have
All
fun.
right? Yes,
Yeah.
that was good.
Disc golf, yeah.
I'm sandwiched by those brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter lives across the street from me. Perry lives behind me.
Wow.
And I get to hang out with them at the store.
Very nice. I think they were the first two guys I met when I started playing. Yeah, really, really nice. Really
Were they together?
They were, of course. And I've found a couple of Perry's discs, and he's found a couple of mine, and we returned them. Yeah, nice guys.
They go for walks together at night in the summertime and with their dog and whatever. They spend a lot of time together. Great guys. I shouldn't be sharing their private information, but when I first moved here, we'd be coming back from the bar or something, and we'd run into them. And I remember distinctly one day they kind of looked at us and said, "Yeah, I think we're going to start playing this disc golf thing." I was like, "Right on, boys, let's go." So they're diehards ever since. That's fantastic. Well, he said the H7 was, Peter said H7 is his distance driver. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was using an H5 for a long time, but then I switched.
Yeah.
I think I got to go back and try it again.
Yeah, I have an H7. That's a lighter weight. I think like 153 grams. That's a great disc. I've thrown it pretty far a couple times, so it's always in the bag now.
Without bloom on it?
Without bloom on it. Yeah.
Peter can handle a lot of stability in a disc too. Like they both come a long way. They throw really far, and which is great.
It's fun to play around with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great. I like the comment that Peter also made about those zero gravities. They were actually been pretty since we brought them in.
Yeah.
They're new this year. Super lightweight, but I mean, again, that's winter time too.
Yeah, in the winter they're great. I don't know, I like the lighter weight disc obviously because I don't have the arm speed yet. I'm working on some stuff, but is there for you guys is there a weight that is too light? You know what I mean? Is it start to feel like it's not? It's almost like it's cheating. Like it's a little bit too light. I know you're trying to get new people into it, but I don't know. Like I think I bought a Mako 3, and it's like 140 something, and it's just like this thing is too light.
Right.
You know, it'll go a mile, but I feel like it's so light it's forgiving, and I don't know. I feel like it's almost going against what the sport is. Is that too much to say?
I first put it in context of what he said. He said that it was
For a beginner.
the absolute beginner, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Second, I think he was really impressed with the fact that it did handle the flight for its weight. I mean, whatever gets you there, really.
Yeah, true enough.
But yeah, I mean, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I like the weight. I like to have weight. I don't mind dropping down. I don't know. It just seems more and more that I see players where 170, 72 to 70 to 74 was sort of like the normal number that people would be go to for driver weight, for example. I'll just say driver. Okay. But over the last couple of years, everybody's coming in and like really enjoying 163s, like the X3, and a lot of like 163, 164, 165 seems to be where people are really kind of digging on it. So.
Right.
But I don't know if there's too light.
Yeah.
I worry about the lighter ones in the wind.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So
See you later.
I get worried about that, and I tend to not throw them as much.
Right. Well, you wouldn't really be, a beginner really wouldn't be out playing in crazy wind anyway, I don't think.
Well, let's not go there. Brings back memories of Caddyshack and the priest getting hit by lightning. Anyway,
Yeah.
another story, another time.
Yeah.
So the other thing I like the comment on is what makes a favorite hole. What are the things that make it the best hole to throw?
Ooh,
It's a good question.
that is a great question.
I like obstacles.
Right.
That's almost a must. A wide open field, you can throw that anytime. But if you've got to get around one tree, or not get around it, of course,
Right.
I like that because when you beat it, you win.
Right.
Right.
You like technical shots. Technical holes. Sorry, I should elaborate and say technical holes.
Yeah, they don't have to be long.
Yeah.
They can be, but I like that I'm trying, except for, if it's too technical and I never figure it out, then I don't like it.
Right. Okay, that's called giving up.
Yep.
I love all sorts of holes, obviously. So I don't really have a favorite. But I do think I'm kind of with you. I don't like holes that are super forgiving. I don't believe that holes should have like multiple lines. Like they shouldn't. It's okay if they do, but I don't think it's not really a hole. But a course shouldn't have like multiple options on every hole. It defeats the purpose. It's the course as a whole that you're looking at, not just an individual hole. It's a tough question to answer. Really tough
Maybe
question.
we need to put that one as a survey question.
Yeah.
That would be good. I think for me and being, newer to the sport, I like those moments. I like those holes, and maybe it falls more in line with a signature hole. But like those holes that you play where it's like nice scenery. It's like it's along a creek or something, and you'd have that moment where I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I discovered this sport.
Yeah.
It makes you realize, a gratitude thing. But there's also the other hole that I like. There's a technical aspect where I have to do something that's not in my comfort zone.
Right.
So my struggle with turning shots turning shots over, going, everything I throw, I'm left-handed, backhand, so everything will kind of finish to the right. But if I gotta bend something to the left, I'm going to be challenged, and there's a nice feeling when you hit that line.
Absolutely.
I like that.
It's perfect. Like you throw, let's say you're throwing forehand, the obstacle's in the way, it's not really working for you, but you pick the right disc, and you can get around that obstacle, and it just gives you joy on that hole.
Yeah, that hole brings that shot out in you, and then that's a good hole. That becomes a favorite hole, favorite time in one.
And you remember it.
And you remember it. Yeah. You talk about throwing forehand and stuff. I'm so new. Hopefully, I'll get to that point where that's a conversation for another day. But I need to figure out how to throw a forehand. You need to have that option.
I can throw forehand, I can throw backhand, but my backhand doesn't have the power. So it's more for the mid-range and the putting for me.
Right.
But I can get more power out of my forehand, and it doesn't hurt the shoulder quite as much.
Right. Very nice. Someday.
Yeah. Or you can just learn to throw with your other arm as well.
Oh, that's another podcast too.
I
have a lot of questions for you.
Just decide to do it.
Yeah.
Just to wake up one morning and decide to throw with the other hand.
I sometimes putt with my other hand when I'm within 3-4 feet. Just to say I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter also said, I'm sorry, Perry, I haven't picked anything you said, but you mentioned garbage. Hopefully it's not getting out of hand, but just a friendly reminder to everybody to pack out what you pack in. Simple thing.
Springtime's coming, so there'll be some extra stuff out there. So
there's always going to be more stuff. It's a shared space. We don't know that it's necessarily golfers, but I'm assuming that because they're walking the actual course that they're talking about disc golfers. But during the spring, the warmer months, the city does a great job of putting out garbage cans on the first hole and the 10th hole. So there's always a place to put stuff. But maybe in the winter, just again, it is tough. It's we have to fight with transient people on the course and everything else. So you never really know where it's coming from, or if it's just even wind blowing stuff in, depending on where it is.
Yeah, recycling. You never know. Everyone just pick up a little bit, and we'll be good.
Pick up a little bit, put it in your bag, and then about 3 weeks later, you take it out and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, totally.
Peter and Perry, fantastic. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for doing that. That's awesome. So I have a question for you, and we didn't talk about this in our first couple of episodes, but let's get it on the board now before we can. I want to know, in 2024, what was your favorite new addition to your bag? Whether it's a disc or a plastic type or a gizmo, whatever it could be, anything that went in your bag in 2024. What was the standout, breakout moment that you had? Or like, what brought you the most joy?
Only one?
Only one. Only one, buds.
Hey, Greg, you better go first.
Oh, no.
I'm going first. It was the
Okay, so what I was
Reblend M2. Reblend M2 from Prodigy. I'm going first. So the Reblend plastic is fantastic. The M2 has always been a very inconsistent disc for me whatsoever. I was kind of digging into the whole archive thing. But when the M2 Reblend came out, I was just like, this is it. I am in love with it. It does what I ask it to do. It's dependable. It's consistent. And I mean, I won't bag any. It feels completely different in my hand than the other M2s as well. Right. And I don't know if that's the plastic that's sort of like the way it was formed in the mold or whatever. Mm-hmm. But oh my God, the M2 Reblend is so good, and I got there first. So suck it.
So it's not going to be the one I bring up because we don't want to do a do-over here. But yeah, you know what? I love my M2 as well, and it's super stable for me. I can throw it so straight. When you've got those narrow shots, it works really well. But that's not the one I was going to bring up. I had a favorite putter for the first 3 years. I bought this used putter, loved it. And what was it, Brian? The Paul
Ulibarri
putter. It was fantastic, and I was doing really well with it. And then one day I was in the shop and I picked up the woodchuck, and I got a red one. And in my hands, it just stuck to my hands, and I'm loving it.
Completely from a 350G hard firm Paul Ulibarri PA3 to a ball of goo woodchuck.
Yes.
Rubber spectacular.
It sticks to my hand. It throws straight, very, very straight. Yep. And I've got 2 of them now. One that I use for bouncing off trees on the longer shots, and then one for just making the putts.
Yes.
But yeah, that was the one that it seemed to make my mid-range and, well, not really mid-range, but my long putts and my putts better. I was getting closer. That's the one I'm going to bring up because I can't talk about my M2 Reblend.
That was, yeah, exactly. And that was 2024. You got that in 2024.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
You're up.
Okay, I think for me, the Prodigy, the H4 V2, it's discontinued now, right? Is they still making those?
The H4 they still make it. Yeah.
Like in the air plastic.
Well, they will eventually.
Okay,
but no, it's
that for me. Like I struggle with fairway drivers and drivers. That disc just feels really, really good in my hand. I could flex it out a little bit, get a little bit of extra distance. That kind of like just took my game up an extra notch when I needed to find. Everyone's in search of distance, but I found a little extra distance with it. But it's just a reliable, like, driver for me. Yeah, because I'm nice. So starting off, being new to it. You throw a lot of putters and a lot of mid range, and that's where I just felt like my game went up just an extra notch. Yeah, good disc. And I lost 2 of them, and they weren't returned. I lost 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. I have one left. Yeah. So, if you're ever out there and you see my numbers on it, yeah, call me.
Yeah,
love that disc. Love that disc.
It hurts to lose that favorite disc.
It does. Yeah, 2 of them too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should have bought more.
Yeah, I know. If there's any more at the store, I'll just keep them.
Have you bought a disc yet this week?
Not this week, no. But I'll go this week. Coming up. I'll be there on Saturday. Yeah.
Well, I think maybe the next episode we'll talk about how many discs are too many.
Yeah, we should. Int.
Right on. Thanks again, Peter Perry,
Excellent.
for joining us.
These guys are great.
I think we're good for today.
I think we're looking good.
Thanks for spending time with me again.
Yeah, this has been great.
And let's zip up the bag on this conversation until our next round, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Right on.